All right, it's live now. So let's begin off with a quick synopsis of the Lance Armstrong case. Can anyone share a brief synopsis about the case?
Sure. Lance Armstrong was an American cyclist who made history by winning the Tour de France 7 times while dodging allegations of doping and using performance-enhancing drugs, and wasn't caught doing so publicly, I guess you could say, until his teammates came out with allegations against him, and he finally admitted to Oprah that he had been cheating during most of his career, and in turn left a legacy of deceit and just unsportsmanlike conduct, I guess you can say. It kind of tainted the history of, or the reputation of cycling in general.
Yeah. You know, what I found very odd was that when he was young, he seemed to have been yes, he was very competitive, but I found that he was actually very honest.
Mm-hmm.
When he was young and growing up.
Yeah.
But somehow something changed. Maybe it was a cancer. I don't know.
I don't know. My brother has read his book before. He's very arrogant.
Lance is arrogant.
Oh, very much arrogant. It just seeps out of his writing.
Mm-hmm. So, in your opinion, does he have much of a legacy left?
Not a good one.
Yeah, I'd say he has a tainted legacy.
Yeah. All right. Will, anything to add? Will, are you there?
His phone might have froze.
Well, I think he's on his computer, but oh well. Okay. Number 2. Armstrong organized and led what was perhaps the most sophisticated and comprehensive cheating program in the history of sports. Who suffered from his cheating, and what were the costs? So, who all suffered from his cheating?
I think
I'm sorry, guys. My phone died again.
Oh, no, you're good.
I think his teammates and the sport in general suffered.
So, do you guys want to go over the summary again? I'm just joking.
Well, what do you think? Who suffered from his cheating?
Me?
Will. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you who didn't suffer from his cheating, that didn't have any direct connection with the sport. I mean, you're talking fans, you're talking networks, you're talking corporate sponsors, you're talking fans, you're talking, teammates, spouses, children. I mean, again, like, who that's not involved with this sport directly did not get impacted by this?
You know, it's pretty sad. The entire country, the entire United States of America, also suffered from his cheating because the United States Postal System was one of his sponsors. So he took advantage of the American taxpayer also.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, and I mean, really, cycling wasn't that big until he started getting really big, and so he kind of just cheated the American people because we started getting interested. At least I did when he started winning there, and then to learn that he did that and tried to cover it up for so long, kind of felt like a stab in the back just to me too.
Yeah, I watched the last few of his races, and after that, after his cheating allegations was confirmed, I don't think I've watched cycling since.
Yes, neither have I.
Will, are you into watching the cycling?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I only like the fast sports.
Oh, the fast sports.
Just kidding.
Oh, the bike races.
Oh, they're just too
races?
slow.
Oh, those are too slow.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get to a spot where I can plug into and actually be comfortable.
Okay. Question 3. Were the other riders, Hamilton, Landis, and those who testified, too loyal to Armstrong or not loyal enough?
I think they were too loyal. Like, obviously, it was a big scandal. Like, the previous question said, one of the biggest scandals in modern sports era. And if one of those guys would have piped up earlier, it may not have gotten as big as it did. And I think it really hurt the whole sport because ever since after that, everyone kind of has been doping. And really, I think it started things off to other sports as well. Also, so I think they were way too loyal and should have said something beforehand before it got out of hand like it did.
I think that if you remember reading in the case study, there actually were quite a few teammates or previous teammates who had come out and said something, you know, and so and you saw the reaction that Armstrong
Destroyed them. I'll finish the sentence.
Yeah. You know, while I was reading the case, I thought to myself, you know what? When it came to that question of people being too loyal to Armstrong or not loyal enough, you know, looking at it from another point of view, they were not loyal enough to him. And the only reason I say that is because, you know, he could have easily killed himself by doping.
Yeah, true.
So in some cases, they were not loyal enough to him to force him into not doping, to do whatever they could to get him to not dope. At least that's the way that I look at it.
I think at the same time,
all right, guys,
lose their place on the team.
I got a work emergency. I'm still on the phone, but I got to plug my phone in the car. Crazy.
Oh. Okay.
I'm still.
Okay. All right, on to number 4. Think about a situation where you witnessed a leader, formal or informal, make a decision for others that made you uncomfortable. What was the situation and how did you make it, how did you feel about it? Sarah.
I had a manager, well, she was the owner of the store I used to work for, and we did a lot of shipping online. And she would get the employees to lie to customers, telling them that their stuff was lost in the mail or it was damaged when they went to ship it, when in reality she didn't even have it in stock.
Yeah.
And she would try to get us to say this, and I refused. And I ended up quitting this job shortly after the fact because I didn't want to be associated with someone who was that dishonest, who would just blatantly lie to people.
Yeah. Yeah, last night I read your answer to this one and I really liked it.
Yeah, she surprisingly is still in business, but I don't know how.
That's interesting.
Mitch, do you have anything? Any
Um,
situations?
I mean, it's just really about the same thing like that I've ever run into is just someone at work,
What's that?
you know, just treating customers or taking advantage of people, saying that they can get certain things that they don't do, or they would give them a certain amount of money if they signed up for something, even though we shouldn't do that. So just more so that way. I haven't seen it too much in like my own personal life.
Okay. Will, are you there? Well, when it came to number 4, I could not come up with this situation because
Can you guys hear me at all?
yes, I could not answer question number 4 because I tend to lead a very sheltered life, unfortunately. On to number 5.
Hello?
Think about,
Mitchell, we hear
are
you.
you there?
Now he's dark too.
Mitch?
Sorry, guys. I'm real in my car driving because I have to run over to my work and return some keys, and I can barely hear any of you guys. I've got it right up to my ear, but unless I put it on mute, you guys are going to hear all this loud driving and stuff.
Okay. All right.
So I mean, I'm
Okay. Number 5. Think about a situation where you witness talented followers follow a leader into an uncomfortable or bad zone. What was the situation and what were the results? Did anyone object? Um, uh, well, we lost Mitch. Sarah?
I think the example I used was girls I went to school with in high school. We ended up having 5
Yes.
girls have children before we graduated. They would go to parties, get drunk, wouldn't even object to it because they simply wanted to be with popular people. And because of it, they had life-changing decisions.
Yes. Don't you just love peer pressure?
That's why I avoided most people in high school. I
Yeah.
had my group of friends that I went to seminary with, and our stake was very tight knit. All the kids would kind of hang out together all the time, so
Sounds like fun times.
Good old high school.
left and never looked back.
Yep.
How was your Mitch? How was you do anything? What was it? How was your high school career?
It was pretty good. I tried to generally just make friends with everyone, so I didn't care what their background was, whatever. I was just pretty personable with everyone, so I found it more enjoyable to do that.
Did you witness followers follow blindly into bad situations?
Yeah, because I grew up on the border of Mexico there, so majority of my school was Mexicans, probably like 85% or more there. So there's a lot of gang activity there, and so people would follow their buddies, or even because their cousins or whoever were in gangs, they would themselves decide to follow that blindly because they thought it was a good thing. And so that affected a lot of people that I knew growing up. Some people I knew died because of it, things like that. So
I
definitely.
Okay.
I have an experience.
Okay.
It was my first business venture, like in 2010. I joined a team of founders in a legal services company, and I, of course, didn't know anything about legal services. And the person that was kind of in charge of it all, I didn't do any due diligence on. I joined this team before I even knew what the term due diligence meant. So, um, so we had 12 founders and this lady, and 12 founders, and she was supposed to be the expert on everything, and so she was kind of like the leader, and we all put in our time and our effort, and we actually opened our business in 2010, a legal services company. We started getting clients. I went out and recruited some people. I actually recruited one of our biggest clients, and we had this car program that you could lease any American-made car for 10% of the of the cost, the sticker price of the truck. So, like, you could lease it for a year. So if it was a $60,000 truck, you could lease it for 1 year for $6,000, and it was like unlimited miles and all that. Well, unbeknownst to me, the thing was a Ponzi scheme.
Oh.
And the lady that was in charge was an ex-convict.
Oh wow!
Had gone to prison for setting up almost the exact same scheme.
Jeez.
And had a lot of people that me and the other founding members had brought in that had bought into this car deal, and never got their vehicles. Obviously, because they'd put 10% in. We'd wait, or the lady would wait till she had enough money to buy a car, and then she'd let one person lease the car she bought. And then, but everyone would get excited when that person got their car, that you're like, oh, see, it's true. So then everyone else would start, ordering a car. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And needless to say, she is now in prison again.
Oh.
So,
Wow.
but not without its consequences. One of the guys that I brought on board ended up becoming a salesman for the company. But in order to get this car program down, like going, he got his father to invest some of their family fortune, like I think it was like $3 million. I had called them when I found out they had invested $1 million, because by then I was figuring things out, and on my way out, I called them up and I said, "Hey man, you need to get as much of your money out of this thing as you can, and then and run away and never, or whatever, press charges, whatever you need to do, but you need to walk away from this." And he told me, see, he was a Mormon friend. This is before I was I was converted. He said, "Well, I appreciate that, but my father and I have prayed about it, and we feel like it's okay to continue on." They invested another $2 million after that fact.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's my story.
Good story. Integrity. What basic principles guide your integrity? Are there times when there is a gray area? And how do you choose correctly? Mitchell, let's start with you. Any input?
I mean, for integrity, I always just look at things like, how am I going to feel after I do certain something or I make a choice? First off, how am I going to feel personally, but how is it going to affect others around me? My family or people I care about, or people that will look at me and be like, why did you do that? Like, that's kind of weird. So, integrity, I always try to just do things that I would feel comfortable with and others would be comfortable with. That's within the realm of what God wants as well. I mean, I think at times there are gray areas per se where you're not really sure.
Okay.
But it's based on everyone's, personal feelings and the ways that they feel is going to benefit them. But that's just kind of, I ask myself, is this going to benefit me? Is this going to help? Or is it going to hurt? And that's how I make my choice.
Okay. Sounds good. Sarah, how about you?
I just think of it as it's something I'd be comfortable doing with my parents or church leaders or someone else around. Because if not, you probably shouldn't be doing it, and it's not something that's going to keep your integrity. I mean, to me, I value my integrity. I don't want to compromise it by doing something stupid. So, yeah.
Okay. Hey, Will?
Yeah.
How about you?
You're gonna have to repeat the question.
What basic principles guide your integrity? Are there times when there is a gray area?
Well, I think the
And
basic principles are, really the 10. Convert to the church. I think some of the additional laws that we abide by. Word of wisdom, law of chastity, some of these other, laws that, law of tithing, all of these, I think, are a great guideline for living the right way. So the gray areas, I think the gray areas really are kind of what Jesus taught, like, how he came to earth to fulfill the law. And then he says, your law says thou shalt not commit adultery, but I say, thou shalt not, or not lust after. Help me out, guys. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, I think those are the gray areas, really, because there's no way to know what someone's thinking, right? We don't have the technology to, like, say, I knew you were thinking that. Like, there's no way to enforce a law that says don't lust after someone in your heart, don't envy your neighbor, what they have, don't, these kinds of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough question.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Last one. How will you personally measure your life? How will you measure success? Anyone?
I look at success as not giving up. If you fail at something once and you quit, you failed. But if you try again, your odds of succeeding are better. So to me, as long as I don't quit on something stupid and actually try my hardest on everything, you succeed in life.
Very true. All right. Mitch, anything? Anything to add?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then also, for me, just how successful I'm being in following what the Lord wants me to do there, whether that be in career decisions or family based. More so that, am I, fulfilling my duties as first a priesthood holder and as a husband and different things like that. And if I could say yes to those things later on and I raised my children right down the path or whatever, I think life would be successful. And I never gave up if something went wrong, like Sarah was saying. That is a big thing. Don't quit when things get hard. And so that's what I would say as well.
Okay. Sounds great. Well, there's only one more thing that I want to go over tonight, and I wish Brandon was here. That's the end of the case study, and thank you all for your input. The other thing is for our, oh gosh, in the prep for lesson 10, it says next week's case study will not be the typical Harvard case and write-up. Instead, your individual preparation will require only a brief amount of time. Then you will meet with your group. You may consider meeting with your group earlier in the week because you will have to complete a conclusion to the wilderness survival activity. So the question is, do we want to meet together on Tuesday of next week?
I think that would work for me.
It might be a little late for me to start it, but yeah, that'd work.
Okay. I really have not looked over the wilderness survival activity.
I have it right here. What it is they have a scenario where you go somewhere in Minnesota or something on a outing, and then you guys get stranded. You have a list of supplies, and you're supposed to rank them in order of importance.
Okay.
And then what we're supposed to do as a group, from what I read earlier in the week, was we're supposed to agree on a ranking for items. And then we're supposed to submit it to a class discussion board.
Okay.
Let's see if I can pull this. Yeah, wilderness survival table is what we have to look at. So, I don't know if we really need to, because some of this stuff isn't due until like Monday. So I don't know if they're referring to group who meet like Monday night.
I really don't care when we meet. It suggests that we meet earlier in the week. That's why I bring it up.
Well, should we send an email out to Brandon and then everyone else can voice their opinion on that?
Yeah, I think that's a good.
That would.
Yeah, sounds like a great idea.
I think I'm supposed to lead this next week.
Who is?
I am.
Oh, okay.
So I think let's just send an email out and see if he wants to meet earlier or what.
Okay, we can.
I don't know if this will take tons of time, but we can go with it.
All right.
All right.
Do you want to initiate that email there, Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just do it right now.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Well, thanks everyone for being willing to meet.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Hey guys, thanks guys.
All right. So just let everyone just voice their opinion on what works for them next week on the email.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Good night.
See ya.